Today's video tutorial: how to disassemble and then reassemble the virus paramotor. To do this, we only need a couple of tools. First tool we're going to need is a 5mm socket to remove our propeller. These off. Remember that your propeller bolts are torqued. I torque mine to 12.5 Newton meters. And all that information is in your Vidrazzi manual, not the virus manual. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to do this without any cuts or edits. And hopefully I won't flub it up too bad and you'll be able to learn something. And I won't make a fool of myself. That would be good too. But this is actually going to be the first time I've disassembled this paramotor or removed the prop since I put it together a couple of months ago. It's just been bulletproof. I haven't had any issue whatsoever with it, and I've had no issues that I needed to address, so no reason to pull it apart. Some people might want to take it apart to transport it. I put it on the back of my car, so no need to take it apart. But you never know, might happen. Hey, keep in mind when you're taking apart your propeller, the writing here on the outside of this E-prop faces out, and that's pretty typical for most E-props. Some of them say E-prop in painted big letters that would face the outside, so keep that in mind when you're taking your prop apart. If you install your propeller backwards, you will not be able to take off. That won't be good. Alright, we'll just set this over here. So there's our propeller. Here's my belt. I've got 20.6 hours on this belt, and it hasn't reached a point where I need to tighten it yet. Also, the exhaust springs, the header, everything on this exhaust has been bulletproof perfect. Okay, moving around to the front, you'll need to figure out which way this loosens up. There we go. Remove the pull starter. Alright, so there's that. I've mentioned this in another video. I zip tie these net sections together, but you don't have to, and I'll show you what it looks like when they're not zip tied together. You're not going to really notice much of a difference. Yeah, so this is how it would be. You can see here that the net slips behind these two round retainers, and it also goes in these two notches right here, if you can see the notches. So really, I just think it looks neater when you zip tie it here. But of course that's an extra step, and it's also I guess it's a little bit of a hassle if you want to take it apart and move it. So for those that want to take your machine apart and move it often, I would not put zip ties here. But if you're OCD like me, you'll put zip ties there. All right, so that's those are the three first steps that I would have to do to take this apart. Next, we're going to remove the net from each side of the cage. And you might be wondering, oh, he's got ATLs on both sides. He's going to have to take those off. No, you don't have to take them off. They stay right on the net. As a matter of fact, I have my ATLs zip tied in 2 places on each ATL. And by zip tying them, I guarantee myself that they're not coming off. And I also tow, and I drive a little fast, and they don't move, which is fantastic. Others have had issues where their ATLs have broken or come loose or flown away. Zip tie them, drill them, zip tie them, boom, you're done. Okay, so the net, you have a retainer at the bottom here. We're gonna remove the retainer, and then watch how hard this is. You're gonna lift this up, just pull it up, and then down. And this will have to be taken off so it can go through the hole. And you just feed it right through there, like that. So that's one side. We'll just throw this in there. The other side, exactly the same. Pull it up, pull it down through the hole. That's the net. I mean, pretty simple. Next thing we're going to do is disassemble the cage. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cam locks. I don't think it matters where you start, so let's see if we can't get a finger under here and start right here. There's one. There's 2. That would be our 3rd. Here is number 4. And here is the last one. And you know what? I gotta say, these cam locks have not loosened up. They have not rotated. They have not vibrated. They haven't budged in 20 hours. I haven't touched them. All right, so now we're ready to remove the cage assemblies. And you'll see that there's like a hook here. These slide in. So we're just going to pull it straight out. We're going to undo the net. We're going to undo this, and we're going to undo that. And as you can see, there's our first section. So we'll set that over here. Second section, we'll remove the net out of there. We'll open this up. And there is our second section. ATLs stay put, no problem. So now we've just got the spars left. And the spars, there's a push button on either side here. You just press the button and you pull the spar out. Press the button, pull the spar out. And the last one, press the button, pull the spar out. So that is ready for transport. You could lay this in the back of your vehicle. Heck, you could probably sit it on the seat. Yeah, not too heavy. If you needed to do any work on this machine, this is an easy way to work on it. This is also a really good opportunity for me to show you the arms again. So let me just remove a carabiner at the bottom there. I talk about these arms a lot because I'm so impressed with them. These are the J-style swing arms. They're the hybrid swing arms, and they're hybrid because they have this strap right here, which allows a significant amount of weight shift if you want it. I want to reiterate and make it very clear that the machine just doesn't fly all over the sky and act crazy all by itself. You have to give it input. You have to weight shift your body, you have to move your shoulders, you have to want to weight shift. It just isn't a wild horse and you need to try to control it. So please don't get the wrong idea about the hybrid weight shift system. It just enables you to have an increased amount of wing feel, wind feel, and weight shiftability as compared to other systems that are on the market. The S-style arm is in production. It is available. If you want to order a virus with an S-style arm, you absolutely can. There's pictures available online. I can send you some pictures of it. There is no additional charge for an S arm. If you'd like to have both arms, you can have both arms as well. So, you know, you get what works best for you. So the swing arm, again, fantastic piece of engineering right here. This is the retaining mechanism. Again, it's a detent. You push it in, push that over, and this releases the arm. And you can remove the arm totally. If you want to take the straps off, you can remove the arm totally. But I want to show you this pin here. Look at the size of this pin. This is an aluminum billet pin on this huge disc. And you can see these spacers right here. These spacers are used to offset the right side swing arm to help with torque. These spacers are removable. You can add spacers. You can do a bunch of different things. I left it the way it came stock. I haven't had any problem with it. A little bit difficult to see here, but you can see in the back, and you can also see a little label there. Every part on this machine does have a part number label on it, which helps quite a bit. So this is bolted to the back of the machine. It's bolted through the frame here. And it has this huge, I mean, what is that? 3/4 of an inch pin that this swing arm rotates around on. This is not a cheap little bolt, through bolt, that goes and threads in and your life rides on a little cheesy bolt. I've seen these designs. They're widely available. And I gotta tell you that you're putting a lot of stress on one little bolt. There's different grades of bolts. Some manufacturers recommend that you change out certain bolts if you're gonna be doing any high G type of maneuvers. Some machines are not even G tested because I don't think that the swing arms would hold up. So when you're researching a paramotor, you know, there's a lot of things to consider. There's the overall appearance. You know, does it speak to you? Is it a beautiful design? Is it just fun to look at? Yeah, that's what really drew me into the virus. This thing is an engineering marvel. The way that this thing has been CNC machined, there's not a single weld on the machine. It's 70-75 aluminum. It's riveted. There's really zero maintenance here. There's nothing to look at. There's nothing to adjust. It's just a solid, it's just a designing masterpiece. I'm really, you know, lack of a better word, it's a masterpiece. He had a vision and he knocked it out of the park. I don't know what else to tell you. You know, there's other machines out there. Yeah, they're pretty. They're absolutely well engineered. there's a beautiful carbon machine out there that always catches my eye every time I see it or when I watch somebody fly it. I think that there are other good machines out there, absolutely, and I am not here, and I will never knock other manufacturers. Everybody has to make a choice of what works for them. I just think that, you know, it's a lot of money. It's your life when you're up there in the air, and you want something that's going to be robust. You want something that's had a lot of thought behind it. You want something that's easy to work on. Do you want something that's light? Do you want something that's mid-range? Do you want something that may be a little heavier? All of those things factor in as to the reliability and the longevity of the parts. The Virus is a little heavier. It's about on par with what a Scout weighs, but you know what? This machine can take a butt landing. This machine can take a power forward launch without flexing. This machine can take being bumped and bruised without bending and without deflecting. It's a very, very strong and robust machine, and that's what I was after. I've had titanium machines in the past, and I've bent both of them. One of them I bent on a power forward, and the other one I bent when my prop touched one of my lines, and it pulled down, and the prop kind of spun the line tight and grabbed one of my cage pieces, and it just tore that cage to pieces. Because titanium is soft and it'll bend. You know, you gotta just get what works for you. If you want the lightest machine, you know, get the lightest machine. Just be aware that there's pros and cons to every design. So put the swing arm back on, you just line it back up, and you push it in, you press the button, you click it, and that's it. She's in there. So let's put this thing back together. Let me get this out of the way. Hey, you know what? I had a couple questions regarding the reserve parachute. I want to go over that real quick. Front mount flight deck reserve, right? It sits on your lap. Here's the pull handle. You can engage the pull handle from left or right side, which is a good benefit of a flight deck reserve. It's not side mountable, so that's I think a negative aspect of this particular harness. I would like to have a side mountable harness just to get this lap space back, but I do like having the flight deck because I've got a tablet here that's velcroed down, and when I'm in flight I've got a pretty big map to look at. So yeah, pros and cons, Do you like to have that available with you when you're sitting in the air? Yeah, once you're in the air, it's a piece of cake. On the ground there's a couple extra straps you have to connect, and you have to make sure everything's right. When you're tying in your speed bar, you got to make sure that you don't put the speed bar on top of your straps here for the reserve. You got to make sure things are right. So there's some extra steps, but you can see here that the cord comes out of the reserve. It runs up the harness, and it comes down here and attaches inside the harness. So if you're in a situation where you have to deploy your reserve, this is going to suspend you vertically here. You do not connect the reserve to any other place. It's one connection on this side here. The other strap runs across the top here, and it connects to the other side. And that just seals up with Velcro. Okay, so let's put this back together. We'll do it in real time. See if I can do it without making a fool of myself, as before. So we're going to put spars in. This one's a piece of cake. It's got the starter on it. Press the button, put it in. Make sure the little detents here pop out. These side spars are identical. It doesn't matter which side you put them in. Again, press the button, put it in, you're in. Next, line it up, press the button, you're in. Alright, next is going to be our cage and our net assembly. First time evolution for me to put this back together. After it's been disassembled. So we'll see how it goes. Make sure you start on the outside here. Can slide this in. We'll slide this in. Slide that in. Yeah, that wasn't that difficult. We'll go ahead and put a cam lock through the pin here. But I'm not going to make it tight. I'm just gonna put it in the hole. That's good right there. We'll do the same thing on the bottom. Just to hold it. Let's get the other cage piece. Let's see here. It's gonna go like that. I'm going to slide this top piece in. Make sure my net's on the other side here. Slide these in like so. And the bottom piece, and that looks pretty good. Go ahead and put a couple of these cam locks in. Again, just loose until there are two sizes of cam locks. There's only two that are long and they go on the bottom. The others are all the same. So there's 2 longs and 3 shorts. Alright, we can leave that like that. This top one. You know what else I wanted to mention about this virus that I really haven't talked about previously is the ceramic coat paint. Now, I love the way the white looks, and I had a white Paramotor before, and it was powder coated. it got absolutely filthy all the time. This particular machine, with its ceramic coat, I have 20 hours on it. I've been hauling it around the back of my car. You know, I work on it, and it's spotless. This ceramic coat stays so beautifully clean. I gotta tell you, I'm impressed. So the net goes in this groove. You follow it down the center, and you go under this little circle tab right there. Same thing on this side. Go in the groove, run it down the center, and behind the round tab. Next, we'll go to the bottom, and we'll tighten up the two sections of net. We go up from the bottom, and this is just ridiculously easy. Pull it as tight as you can, and then down. Same thing with the other side. We go up from the bottom, through the doohickey gizmo here. Pull it as tight as you can, and down. And you can make adjustments on this very easy just by pulling it again. So that is that. So we'll connect those when we're done. Next step is we'll put our throttle back on. That's nothing more than connecting the pulley. Very easy. You see how tight this is? And maybe here you see why I like to zip tie, because I just want it a little neater. But that's just me. But that's really tight. We can go back and tighten these up. You don't have to really get too crazy with these. I go like 2-finger tight, and that's good enough. Or else they're hard to get off. You have to use a lever underneath them or rotate them out to the side. Pretty good design, you know. It's easy to work with, and what I also like is that they're all mechanical parts. You know, there's no Velcro straps, there's no plastic clamps. These are real mechanical parts that do the job, and they do the job well. And for me, that's key. I don't like junk. I don't want to have to re-engineer something that I bought. I want it to be engineered right the first time. And that's what I feel like I'm getting with the Virus Paramotor. A well thought out, well designed, well appointed machine. Alright, so those are all the pieces. It's all tight. All we've got left to do is put the propeller on. For this, again, you're going to want to make sure you're using a torque wrench set to Newton meters. And I set mine to 12.5. It's always easy to just get 2 bolts in there, and then always start them by hand. You don't want to over stress or cross thread any of these bolts in the hub. Always do it by hand. No power tools is what I'm trying to say. Asking for trouble if you do that. So again, I'll reiterate, that was the first time that I've taken all of the cage pieces off and the propeller and took it down to just the frame and the engine since I bought the machine. I've done some really small demos online before just to kind of show you how one piece came apart, but I never took the whole thing apart and put it back together. Just never had a need to. But today we got some gloomy weather outside. Some people have asked, hey, can you show us how to do it? So here we go. And I think, let's see, it might have took, I don't know, 20 minutes to go slow and explain it, what I was doing. So again, we're gonna torque these, and we're gonna go evenly, snug them up, and then go around. Pretty standard how to torque a bolt. We don't have to explain that. But it's important, right? Sometimes you'll see people just do tight enough, good and tight. Also, lots of other versions that you can do, but you want to make sure you do it right. It takes a little bit of extra time to use a torque wrench and do it the right way. All right, one more time around and we're done. I feel good about it. So, if you've got any additional questions, please let me know and I'll be happy to try to help you out. But that is the virus, paramotor, disassembly and reassembly. A little info on the reserve parachute, the bridle, the connections, the speed bar, the J-arms. Hopefully that helps you guys out. All right, we'll talk again soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.